Mi nombre es Juan de Dios Sánchez Roselli y soy el director de
My
inversiones.
name is Juan de Dios
Santander
Sanchez
Private Banking.
Roselli, and I am Head of Investments at Santander Private Banking. We are approaching the end of 2013, and after another positive month in the markets, it appears that it will be a very favorable year in terms of equity market returns. Politics played a major role in the month of October, with a degree of concern in the beginning due to the important implications of the fiscal discussions in the U.S.
fiscales en Estados Unidos. Afortunadamente, los líderes demócratas
Fortunately,
y republicanos
Senate Democrat and Republican leaders succeeded in reaching a mini deal that postpones debt ceiling negotiations at least until December 20th, and it staves off the possibility of non-payment of the U.S. government's obligations. This also solved the government shutdown that involved the temporary employment furlough for over 800,000 government officials.
La reacción de los mercados a esta tregua en las discusiones fiscales fue de
Markets reacted with relief to this truce, with overall increases across the markets. Bond returns decreased with an ensuing rise in bond prices, and equity markets had substantial increases. The US dollar was the only security that suffered, depreciating against the euro and reaching levels of 1.38.
Los datos de crecimiento de Estados Unidos del cuarto trimestre seguramente se verán ligeramente afectados.
U.S. fourth quarter growth data will very likely be affected by this state of uncertainty, but it should have a limited effect. The next few months will probably involve new confrontations between Republicans and Democrats based on the need to renegotiate the debt ceiling and the automatic spending cutbacks implicit in the Budget Control Act of 2011.
Budget Control Act del 2011. Los mercados mostraron una sorprendente tranquilidad durante los
Markets were
días.
surprisingly calm in the face of the shutdown and the ongoing uncertainty in debt ceiling negotiations. Wall Street seems resigned to the lack of understanding and dysfunctional attitude in Congress and the White House. Investors appear to be focusing their attention exclusively on the Federal Reserve, while interpreting that a positive side effect of Washington's political fiscal commotion is a likely extension of the term for applying expansive monetary policy measures.
Apliquen las medidas de política monetaria expansiva. Las expectativas de inicio del abandono de los programas
There has been a delay of nearly 6 months in the start of the Fed's tapering program, and the expected date of the first rise in rates has been put off until late 2015. The market appears to ignore Washington and is staying addicted to this environment of historically low interest rates. In the meantime, the U.S. economy continues in its recovery phase, but at a slower pace than expected by economic agents. In terms of employment, there was a slight improvement in the unemployment rate from 7.3% to 7.2%, with 148,000 new jobs in the month. Markets are most sensitive to unemployment data because it is one of the Federal Reserve's objectives when setting monetary policy. If this monthly rate of job creation continues below 150,000, it is quite likely that interest rates will remain practically at zero for 2 more years.
prácticamente a cero casi 2 años más. ¿Qué implicaciones tiene esta coyuntura para los inversores?
What implications do these circumstances have for investors? The first is that investments in liquidity and conservative assets will continue with hardly any type of payoff. The second is that investors' search for positive returns may involve a favorable flow to equity investments. The U.S. stock market remains at peak levels, and valuations are not as attractive as they were early in the year. It is therefore necessary for the economy to maintain an improving trend and for improved earning expectations which are factored into the current valuations to materialize. As noted on the following graph, analysts' income growth and their earnings estimates are much higher for the coming quarters. Thus, Wall Street is facing a highly demanding period, and companies must confirm that their financial position and growth expectations are solid.
Expectativas de crecimiento son sólidas. Estaremos muy atentos a
We
la
will
agenda
maintain a watchful eye on scheduled Federal Reserve meetings, on news from Washington and Wall Street, and on companies' earning reports in order to continually update our vision and be able to offer optimal investment alternatives. We are happy to update these commentaries at any time and to offer the best service that you, as a client of Santander Private Banking, deserve.
que usted como cliente de Santander Private Banking se merece.